Now on DVD comes every child's beloved friend, Barney.
Howdy, buckaroos!
Discover the imagination, music, adventure, and learning in these all-new DVDs.
You're going to have so much fun!
Enter the magical world of fairy tales in Barney, Once Upon a Dino Tale, where your imagination can run wild.
When you share, you show you care for your friends.
Oh, yes, you do.
Have fun with Barney's Sing and Dance with bonus music CD.
Oh, boy. Oh, I think this is a great idea.
Coming to DVD is Barney's Jungle Friends, an all-new movie. Explore amazing jungle animals and listen to 17 songs in this Barney and Friends DVD and music CD.
So this is a rainforest.
And share your love of learning, books, and movies in Barney Book Fair with a full-length storybook included.
Books are fun. Books are great. Let's sit down with a book today.
All with your best friend Barney, where you can learn, play, laugh, and share with Barney and all his friends. So come along and don't miss out. Barney and Friends. Look for them on DVD.
Get ready for Bob the Builder's biggest off-road adventure yet with the brand new special, Scrambler to the Rescue on DVD.
Cool as a mule!
When a major snowstorm strands the Can-Do crew, Scrambler sets off on a dangerous mission. It's a race against time and Zoomer the snowmobile to see who will rescue the crew.
Race ya! Meow!
But will it be a race to disaster?
Oh no!
Or is working together the only way out?
I could have done this on my own! Then prove it!
It's an action-packed adventure you've got to see to believe.
Together we're an awesome winter team!
There's a storm coming for the Can-Do crew. Can Scrambler save the day? Find out in Scrambler to the Rescue. Now available on DVD.
Join Fireman Sam and his friends in an all-new hour-long feature-length special.
That's some fireman you've got there, Stu.
Full of exciting action and adventure.
This is serious. We're going to need all the help we can get.
There's no time to waste at the lighthouse.
Fireman Sam!
The scouts are in danger.
Fire! Fire!
We've got to get out of here fast.
Luckily, the hero next door is always on hand to save the day.
This fire is out of control. Look out, Sam!
Follow all the excitement as Fireman Sam and his team race to the rescue.
It's really just part of the job.
Fireman Sam, the Great Fire of Pontypandy, coming soon to DVD.
Sam is the hero next door.
See and hear Thomas like never before in his biggest movie ever, Hero of the Rails, the movie.
I found the oldest engine on Sodor.
It's a story of adventure and new friends.
We must help Hero at once.
In an all-new movie like you've never seen before.
You've come to the right place, my friend.
Thomas and Friends, Hero of the Rails, the movie. Now available only on DVD.
For your convenience, this DVD has been enhanced with Hit Entertainment's autoplay. Your program will begin automatically. To bypass autoplay, select the main menu button at any time. Your feature presentation will begin in a moment. Enjoy.
Thomas and Friends, making tracks to great destinations.
Dear Christopher, here is your friend Thomas the Tank Engine. He wanted to come out of his station yard and see the world. These stories tell you how he did it. I hope you will like them, because you helped me to make them. Your loving, Daddy.
The island of Sodor is surrounded by beautiful blue sea. It has fields of green and sandy yellow beaches. There are rivers, streams, and lots of trees where the birds sing. There are windmills and a coal mine and docks where visitors to the island arrive. The island also has lots and lots of railway lines. Who's that puffing down the track? It's Thomas. Hello, Thomas.
Hello, everybody.
Welcome to the island of Sodor.
The engines on the island of Sodor look forward to Halloween. They love Sir Topham Hatt's fireworks and the children dressing up as wizards and witches. They also love Edward's spooky stories. They say that on Halloween, the ghost engine returns to the smelters looking for his lost whistle. Ooh, 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 ah, spooky, the engine said, all shivering a little. Later, Sir Topham Hatt arrived. Thomas, Percy, and Duck, I have a special job for you. You are to collect some scrap from the smelter's yard tonight. On Halloween? Don't worry. You will be back in time for the fireworks. Percy isn't worried about missing the fireworks, teased Thomas. He's a scaredy engine. I am not called Percy, but he was a little. At the smelters, all Percy could think about was Edward's ghost engine. Thomas knew Percy was scared, so he teased him even more. What's that up there? Thomas squeaked. Is it a spook? It's just a piece of twisted scrap, Percy said nervously. Isn't it? Thomas was having fun. He kept on teasing Percy. Careful the ghost engine doesn't get you, Thomas said. There's no such thing as ghosts, snapped Percy. Duck felt sorry for Percy. Nobody's brave all the time, said Duck. But I'm not a scaredy engine, Percy insisted. The job was nearly complete. Well done, the yard manager said. Now I'll need one engine to finish up. Duck wanted to pay Thomas back for all his teasing. Please, sir, he said. I'm sure Thomas wouldn't mind staying. Of course not, Thomas boasted. I'm not a scaredy engine. So Duck and Percy left. When Thomas was by himself, every sound and every shadow was spooky. He was beginning to feel very scared. There's no such thing as ghosts, he said nervously. Who's there? Thomas was so busy looking for ghosts, he didn't watch where he was going. The chains felt like ghost fingers. Something's got me! Thomas wheeshed and set off an old steam whistle. Ghost whistle, said Thomas, and he raced away as fast as his wheels could carry him. The ghost engine is after me! It was naughty of Thomas to tease you, Percy, said Duck. He was only playing, said Percy. I hope he hurries up. I wouldn't want him to be late for the fireworks. He's after me! I don't think he'll be late, said Duck. Duck and Percy joined the other engines for the fireworks. Where's Thomas? Percy asked. He'll miss all the fun. It would serve him right after all his teasing, Duck said. But Percy was worried. He went to look for his friend. He found Thomas all alone in the shed. Are you all right, Thomas? He said. Yes, I'm sorry I teased you, Percy, Thomas said. Duck was right. We all feel scared sometimes. And we all have to say sorry sometimes, said his friend. So come on, Thomas. We can watch the fireworks just as well from here. And he was right. It was a moonlit night. Henry was taking a goods train to the station by the lake. Whenever that owl hoots, a mist rolls in, murmured Edward. There's a legend that when the mist's about, there's a ghost about too. Take care on the old line, Henry. Stupid bird, said Henry. Owls, mists, ghosts. Edward's going soft at the boiler. There's no mist. But Henry was wrong. What's that? Cried Henry. It's an amber lamp, murmured his driver. That means proceed with caution. Who's there? No one replied. Henry crept slowly forward. He stopped by a tree. It had a sign nailed to it, "Beware of the viaduct." The driver was surprised. No one warned us about that before. And look, the signal's red. And the gates are closed. And there's a fogman's coat. But where is its owner? Then they saw a light move within the station building. Ghosts! Exclaimed Henry. Edward was right. Something very strange is happening, said his driver. I think it's best we go back. So do I, agreed Henry. By morning, the mist had cleared. A workman was talking about the unsafe viaduct. Lucky you didn't cross it last night. Yes, but we don't know who warned us, replied Henry's driver. Later that day, he spoke to Henry. The viaduct has been repaired. We can take our train back along the old line tonight. Henry really didn't want to. But when nightfall came, he was sizzling nicely. Suddenly, an owl hooted, and then Gordon thundered by. Oh, look, Henry's spooked, said a freight car. Be quiet, snapped Henry. I'm not scared. But he was. A little later, the fog came down. As they approached the same area, they saw the amber light again. Here we go, said Henry's driver. Then, unknown to Henry, the gates mysteriously closed by themselves, and the signal went red. The freight cars had seen everything, and they were spooked. Faster, faster, there's a ghost about. Stop, stop, yelled Henry. A mysterious figure watched Henry go by. Ahead was a landslide blocking the line. Henry braked hard, but the freight cars hit some of the rubble and plunged into the ravine. Just then, Henry's driver saw a strange sight coming towards them. What's that? He said. The fireman laughed. That's our ghost. It's Old Bailey, the fogman. Old Bailey was very cross. I tried to warn you about the viaduct. Why didn't you pay attention? We're sorry, replied the driver. Is there anything we can do to thank you? I'd like to operate that old station. If you let me, I promise I won't spook Henry again. And in a little while, Old Bailey's wish was granted. You and your station will be really useful, said Sir Topham Hatt. Let's hear a hearty thank you to the friendliest, ghost on the island. Everyone cheered, especially Henry, who was the happiest of all.
James's discovery. James, the red engine, was restless. Since his accident with the trucks in the cow pasture, the Fat Controller had let him shunt around the big station to gain confidence with trucks again. But James had been shunting for some time and was eager to see the rest of the main line.
"I'm tired of being tethered to the big station," he said to the others one night. "I long to stretch my wheels."
The engines were tired of hearing James complain, but all of them had been in his position before, so they couldn't be cross. "Be patient, little James," Gordon said. "I'm sure the Fat Controller will let you out into the world soon." James's chance came sooner than expected. The Fat Controller sat in his office one morning when an important call came. Yes? A special train? Who is this? Hello?" The phone clicked and was silent. The station master came in. You rang for me, sir?" "Yes. I've just received a call from a station I thought for many years to be vacant. They're asking for a special train." "What kind of train, sir?" "A goods train," he replied solemnly. "Surely it's a joke, sir." The Fat Controller looked very grim. "No, I'm afraid it's not." "Well, who will take this train?"
"A goods train, sir? Down the main line? Do you mean it?"
James said excitedly. "Yes," said the Fat Controller, "but listen very carefully. You're to take these trucks to the old station and leave them there. Pay attention to the rails and do not lose your way." James wasn't sure what the Fat Controller meant, but he was happy to be out of the yards. Later that afternoon, James set out for his destination. James loved it. He cherished the wind in his face and the countryside rushing past.
"Finally, a chance to stretch my wheels."
It took some time to reach the old station. By then, the sky was getting dark. "Would you look at this?" James's driver remarked, pointing to the station. "This used to be the junction to an old branch line, long before you came along, James."
"Really? Who ran the branch line?"
"An old engine, about the same size as Thomas. He was put out of service a long time ago."
"What happened?"
James asked, beginning to feel uneasy. I don't remember exactly," his driver replied. James got the feeling that his driver wasn't telling him something. James and his crew set down the trucks in an old siding. A thick fog was beginning to form. "We'd better hurry back," said James's driver. "The fog is making it hard to see." The fog did make it hard to see. So hard, in fact, that James started down the wrong track. Down the old branch line. Neither the driver nor the fireman recognized the mistake.
"Something's wrong," said James. "The track feels rough."
"It's an old section of main line. You're just not used to it, James." Suddenly, James saw a flash of red lights in the distance.
"What's that?" James cried. "That's not a signal. That's a..."
The fog began to lift, and James realized he was not on the main line. James was not sure where he was, but what he saw there terrified him. Up ahead was an old engine shed. In its stall sat an old, dead engine, rusted from smoke box to cab. The only light came from a busted red tail lamp, which sat on the engine's footplate.
"Oh, horrors!"
James cried. He closed his eyes and ran back as fast as his wheels would let him. He was going so fast that when he returned to the old station, he smashed into the trucks in the siding, spilling their contents. Inside the trucks was what appeared to be demolition equipment. James didn't stop for long to inspect the goods. He hurried back up the main line to get back to his shed. The old station sat eerily quiet. The door of the station building creaked open, and out stepped the Fat Controller. He sighed as he saw the contents of the trucks strewn about on the ground. I really hope James wouldn't have sheeted us, he muttered to himself. I've got to correct my mistakes, no matter how old. Taking off his jacket, the Fat Controller piled as much of the equipment in his car as he could and hurried down the dirt road toward the old engine shed.
Toby's Ghost. Toby the tram engine loved working at the quarry. It was always a hive of activity as stone was cut into the towers and moved down the conveyors into the trucks, ready to be taken to other areas of the island for use in buildings, fences, and many other things. Quarry work could be hectic and very dirty, but it was honest work, and Toby was good at it. Toby had years of experience, to be sure, but he also knew how to work with trucks. Toby loved telling them stories, and the trucks loved to hear them. However, Toby was known to embellish his stories somewhat. One day, the foreman approached Toby and his crew about a large stone delivery. "It's been ordered from an anonymous party near the old branch station," said the foreman. Toby, his driver, and his fireman traded nervous glances. "That's odd," said Toby. "We haven't set wheel on that part of the island for a long time." "That's right," said the foreman. "What's stranger still is that Sir Topham Hatt expedited the shipment to the old station, which means we need to get busy preparing the train." Toby set to work shunting the trucks into a long line, each being loaded one by one with fresh-cut stone. All the while, Toby felt very uneasy about the whole affair. "You look grim," said the leader of the train. "It's the old station," Toby replied. "It's been a long time since we got any correspondence from there at all." "It's just an old station. What's there to be nervous about?" Toby looked down at his buffers. "A few days ago, James was asked to drop off a goods train there. Last time I spoke to him, he told me about something he saw." "What?" 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 the trucks chattered. Let me tell you a story," said Toby. Many years ago, before the other engines arrived, there was an old engine that lived on an old branch line. They say he was just a prototype since he bore no number. He worked on a big railway on the mainland for many years, but fell ill and was brought here to the island for nighter branch line work. But as time went on, the old engine's health began to get worse. His parts became worn and he was in pain no matter what he did. The controller at that time didn't care much for the engine or his pain, and the poor engine took matters into his own hands. "What did the engine do?" The old engine, to escape his pain, ran his passenger train off the rails and into the ravine. The trucks were horrified. They say his ghost still haunts that old station. That's why I'm nervous. I believe James must have seen the old engine's ghost. The trucks were spooked by Toby's story. Soon, it was time for Toby and the stone trucks to leave for the old station, and the trucks were scared.
What if the old engine's ghost is lurking around the old station?
They said to one another. What if we fall into the ravine? It took a long time to get to the old station. The part of the main line from which the station branched was old and overgrown and hadn't been traveled on for a long time. Toby pushed the trucks into the siding and prepared to leave to go back to the quarry. The trucks didn't want him to go.
"Where are you going?"
they cried. "You won't be able to be unloaded until the morning," said Toby. "We have other trains to prepare for the morning. I'll come back for you tomorrow." Suddenly, they heard a strange sound coming up the branch line. It sounded almost like an engine, but there weren't any engines around. "Who's there?" called Toby's driver. But there was no answer. The sound became louder, but now it was the sound of squeaking metal, like a rusty wheel that hadn't been oiled for a long time. Toby and the trucks were completely silent, looking all around them for the source of the noise. Then, at the crest of the hill leading to the branch line, they saw the silhouette of an old engine. Toby backed up quickly to the trucks to get away. They all stood, quivering.
It's the
ghost engine!
The trucks cried. A spotlight flashed on. Standing there was Sir Topham Hatt, and there was Thomas, pushing an old, rusty engine. "Oh, it's only you, Toby," said Sir Topham Hatt. "For a moment there, I thought there were trespassers." "Sir, what are you doing here?" exclaimed Toby. "Well, Toby, the time has come for us to face what happened to this old branch line. I thought the engine who ran this old line perished in the ravine, sir," Toby said. "No, Toby. This was an old contractor's engine I used to build this branch line many years ago. When the war started, I was never able to finish it, and I had to leave him here." "But, sir, the stories—" "I know what the stories say, Toby, but none of them are true. My engine was weak, but he was a hard worker. It broke my heart to leave him here, but I was needed elsewhere." Sir Topham Hatt sounded close to tears. "He lived a good life on his little branch line, and now I'm rebuilding it in his honor. My old friend here will be sent to be used as a model for the statue. Soon we'll have a nice attraction for the island's visitors." Toby was most surprised. "I had no idea. Don't believe everything you hear, Toby." Sir Topham Hatt was true to his word. Soon, the old branch line was up and running and became a very popular destination for passengers. The old engine statue glistened in the sunshine. Looking at that statue, Toby realized that sometimes there's more to a story than meets the eye.
Flower Power. It was Halloween night on the island of Sodor. The moon shone brightly, and the stars twinkled in the night sky. The children's Halloween party was over. But while the children slept, all the engines were kept very busy. Thomas was alone at Tidmouth Sheds when Sir Topham Hatt arrived. He was still in his Halloween costume. "You ought to collect flour from the mill and take it to the bakery," he boomed. "You must work with Diesel. The island needs its morning toast, and Lady Hatt and I need our English muffins," he added sternly. "So I'll have no mishaps tonight." Thomas didn't want to work with Diesel, but he wanted to be really useful. When Thomas arrived at Brendam, he couldn't see Diesel at all. Diesel was up to his old tricks. He rolled up behind Thomas and went, "Boo! Ah!" "Trust the silly old steamy to be scared on Halloween," Diesel sneered. "I'm not a scared engine," said Thomas firmly. "We'll see," oiled Diesel. Thomas and Diesel headed for the flour mill. Diesel teased Thomas with every click and every clack. When they arrived at the woods, Diesel cried, "It's the haunted forest!" And he called out, "Whoa! Thomas!" in a spooky voice. "Stop it," said Thomas crossly. But the breeze blew, and the branches creaked. Diesel's teasing made it seem spooky indeed. Then they came to the abandoned mine. The buildings were deserted, but they could hear a banging noise. "What was that?" cried Thomas. "Sounds like the ghost engine looking for a steamy to scare." Well, I'm not scared," said Thomas. But he wished he felt as brave as he sounded. Thomas and Diesel had to stop at a red signal. It was next to a twisty old tree. The wind whistled and Thomas heard a strange cry. Suddenly, Thomas felt something touch his tender. "Look out!" cried Diesel. "The ghost engine is after your funnel!" "Cinders and ashes!" gasped Thomas. And he let out a frightened peep. Scared engine," Diesel teased. Thomas was very cross with Diesel. He wanted to pay him back for all his teasing. Thomas and Diesel arrived at the flour mill. Thomas rolled up to collect the flour. Then Thomas had an idea. "We'll see who's a scared engine," he puffed. Thomas biffed the freight cars out of the way and rolled up under the chute himself. When Thomas puffed out the other side, he was covered from dome to buffer in pure white flour. "Whoa!" he said spookily. "It's a ghost engine!" cried Diesel. "It's come to get me!" "Stop!" cried Thomas. "It's just me!" But Diesel was nowhere to be seen. After Diesel had gone, the mill seemed very quiet. But there was still work to do. "The island needs its bread," thought Thomas, "and Sir Topham Hatt needs his English muffins." Thomas shunted all the freight cars into one long line, and he set off for the bakery, all alone. As Thomas arrived at the twisty tree, He wished he could go faster, but it was a very long train, and he had to go slowly. Because he was going so slowly, Thomas could see that the tree wasn't spooky at all. It was just a tree, he gasped, and the strange cry was just an owl. Thomas was relieved. Thomas chugged towards the abandoned mine. He could still hear the spooky banging. He looked to his left, and then to his right, and he saw what was making the noise. It's just an old door, he gasped. The wind is making it crash. Finally, Thomas reached the old woods. The breeze still blew, and the branches creaked. Thomas took a big, brave puff. But without Diesel's teasing, Thomas could see the haunted forest was actually Henry's favorite forest. It's not scary at all, said Thomas. Thomas arrived at the bakery. He was tired but happy.
Oh, it's the ghost engine, sir,
Diesel told Sir Topham Hatt.
and it's come to get me.
It's not a ghost engine, boomed Sir Topham Hatt. That's Thomas. He's a really useful engine. Thomas, you have done a splendid job, Sir Topham Hatt said. You deserve an extra special washdown. Thank you, sir, puffed Thomas proudly. And while Sir Topham Hatt waited for the first batch of English muffins, Thomas looked forward to telling his friends his Diesel Halloween story. It was full steam ahead on the island of Sodor. All the engines were running on time. They wanted to finish their work quickly, because tonight was Halloween. The engines loved seeing the children in their Halloween costumes. And the engines loved to hear tales of ghostly engines and scary steam trains. That evening, Sir Topham Hatt came to Tidmouth Sheds. Thomas and Emily, you must go to the smelter's yard, he said. An important delivery of iron must be collected right away. Yes, sir, they puffed. Percy thought the smelter's yard was spooky. He was worried about his friends. Look out for ghosts, he whistled nervously. It is Halloween. There's no such thing as ghosts, Thomas said cheerfully. It's just silly make-believe, added Emily. And they steamed off to the smelter's yard. The sun was setting, and it was getting dark. Imagine being scared of Halloween, puffed Thomas. Or the smelter's yard, sniffed Emily. Pow, added Thomas. Thomas and Emily enjoyed feeling brave. But when they got to the smelter's yard, it was very spooky. Oh my, whispered Emily. Oh dear, hissed Thomas. They puffed slowly through the piles of jagged steel and twisted scrap. The air grew hotter and the smoke grew thicker. Harry and Bert were lurking nearby. The two Diesels saw the chance to scare a couple of steamies. When Thomas and Emily rolled by, they moaned and groaned. It sounded spooky. What was that? Snapped Emily. You said there was no such thing as ghosts. Silly make-believe, you said, gasped Thomas. Suddenly a freight car began to shudder and shake. Cinders and ashes, cried Thomas. Help, wailed Emily. It's a ghost. Let's get away from here. They didn't know Harry and Bert had been bumping the flatbed's buffers. The two naughty Diesels were having great fun. Thomas and Emily pulled up to the smelting shed. They gasped at the ghostly shadows and fizzing sparks. Their wheels felt as if they were frozen, but they had to go inside. "I hope the ghost hasn't gone in there," quaked Thomas. "Me too," quivered Emily. And they both rolled slowly into the smelting shed. Inside, chains clanked and strange shadows danced across the walls. Must be brave, Thomas puffed. But it was spooky. Emily was turning around, ready to shun some freight cars. Suddenly, a great whoosh of sparks lit up the shed. "Bust my buffers!" cried Emily. Emily was scared. She didn't notice the huge white tarp. It fell, covering her from funnel to footplate. "The ghost! It's got me!" She steamed away as fast as her pistons could pump. Thomas thought Emily was the ghost, and he raced out of the smelting shed. "The ghost is after me!" cried Thomas. Harry and Bert thought Emily was the ghost too, and they raced away. Thomas was right behind them, and Emily was right behind Thomas. "Help!" Emily cried. "The ghost has got me!" Harry, Bert, Thomas, and Emily raced towards Tidmouth's sheds. Tidmouth's sheds was quiet and peaceful. All the engines were fast asleep. Thomas's whistle soon woke them up. "It's Thomas!" cried Percy. "Something must be wrong!" Suddenly, he saw Thomas, Harry, and Bert racing into the yards. "Stop!" he cried. Harry, Bert, and Thomas applied their brakes. They stopped just in time. "The ghost is after us," whistled Thomas. Percy was scared. But just then, Emily raced under a signal and the tarp flew off. "That's no ghost," said Percy. "That's Emily." The engines didn't feel scared anymore, but they did feel foolish. Sir Topham had arrived wearing his pajamas. "What is all this fuss and bother?" he boomed. "It has caused confusion and delay." "But, sir," cried Thomas, "the flatbeds were rattling." "And we heard moaning," said Emily. "And groaning," added Thomas. Sir Topham Hatt looked at Harry and Bert. "Do you know anything about this?" he asked sternly. "It was us, sir," Bert mumbled. "For your punishment, you go back and collect the iron at once," said Sir Topham Hatt. "Yes, sir," said Harry and Bert, and they rumbled away. Whenever Thomas and Emily went back to the smelter's yard, they knew there was nothing to be scared of. After all, there is no such thing as ghosts. It was all silly make-believe.
And every year on the date of the accident, it runs again as a warning to others. Plunging into the gap, shrieking like a lost soul. Percy, what are you talking about? The ghost train. Driver saw it last night. Where? Asked Thomas and Toby. He didn't say. Oh, it makes my wheels wobble to think of it. Huh, said Thomas. You're just a silly little engine. I'm not scared. Thomas didn't believe in your ghost, said Percy next morning. His driver laughed. Neither do I. It was only a pretend ghost story. Percy was disappointed. That evening, he came back from the harbour. Percy knew where he was, even in the dark. Crow's Farm Crossing. We shan't be long now. He liked running at night. The rails hummed and the signal lights shone green. But a broken cartload of lime lay ahead. Sam the farmer had just gone for help. Percy broke the cart to smithereens. Lime flew everywhere. He puffed quickly to the nearest signal box. Percy's driver explained what had happened. "I'll see to it," said the signalman, "but you'd better clean Percy, or people will think he's a ghost." Percy chuckled. "Do let's pretend I'm a ghost and scare Thomas. That'll teach him to say I'm a silly little engine." Toby promised to help. Thomas was being oiled up for his evening train. "Percy's had an accident," cried Toby. "Poor engine," said Thomas. "Botheration! That means I'll be late. They've cleared the line for you, but there's something worse. Out with it, Toby. I can't wait all evening. I've just seen something," said Toby. "It looked like Percy's ghost. It said it was coming here to warn us." "Huh! Who cares? Don't be frightened, Toby. I'll take care of you." Wailed Percy. "No, no, not by the smoke of my chimney, chim. I'll chuff and I'll puff and I'll break your door in." "Oh dear," exclaimed Thomas. "It's getting late. Oh, I'd no idea. Oh, I must find Annie and Clarabel." It was morning when Thomas returned. "Where have you been?" asked Toby. "Ah, well," said Thomas. "I knew you'd be sad about Percy, and I didn't like to intrude. I slept in the freight shed and..." "Oh, sorry, can't stop. Got to steer coach about a train." Percy was none the worse for his adventure and was still enjoying himself enormously. He had heard everything. Well, what do you know about that? Anyone would think, chuckled Toby, that our Thomas had just seen a ghost.
It was Halloween night on the island of Sodor, and all the engines were enjoying themselves at Tidmouth's sheds. They were chatting with each other and telling stories about ghosts. Poor Percy was frightened by some of Edward's stories, but his friend Thomas was there to cheer him up. But while all the engines were back at their sheds, Duck was taking a goods train to Tidmouth. It was meant for an engine from the mainland, but he broke down on his way to Vicarstown, and the train got delayed. But things got worse. He was passing Kildane when a heedless signalman had forgotten to change the points. Duck was soon going down towards the scrapyards instead. When Duck arrived at the scrapyards, there was a thick fog covering the yards. everything seemed eerie. Duck could hear squeaks and many unsettling sounds from all over the place. And pieces of scrap create shapes that make Duck's firebox shiver. Soon, the line was clear for them to go back, much to Duck's relief. They soon reversed and puffed back to the junction. This time, they were heading off to Tidmouth. When they arrived, Duck left his trucks in the siding and stopped near the platform to take a breather. All was quiet, and only the owls could be heard. Up until Duck and his crew jolted as they started to hear a loud noise as if the station was full with passengers. The engine's eyes looked left and right, but no one was there, despite all the noise around them. Suddenly, they heard a box falling on the ground, and someone falling from the platform. Duck began to shake in fear as a woman began to scream, and a whistle sounded nearby. Duck was frozen as a faceless engine rocketed by. Then, as quickly as the noise came, everything had fell silent. Duck was terrified. He tried to look back, but the engine and his train were nowhere to be seen. He and his crew wasted no time to get it out of the station and heading their way back to the sheds. As he puffed in, not a word was spoken to any of the engines. He just backed into his empty berth, leaving the engines quite puzzled. All the engines would fall asleep, all except Duck, who could still hear the woman screaming on repeat, all in his boiler. The railways on Sodor are a key part of the island's transport of both passengers and goods. No matter if it's a hot summer day or a cold winter night, you can find engines chuffing down the track. The daytime offers the engines some light, but the nights can be darker than cold. To help with that, engines that run during the night wear electric lamps on their lamp irons, with their according head codes. When it comes to engines like Henry, He wears 2 lamp irons, placed on the middle and right lamp iron. This is because he pulls the flying kipper, which is the perishable goods train. On the other buffer, Percy has only 1 lamp placed on his left lamp iron. This is because he pulls the mail train, which is a pickup goods train. One day, a special order arrived, and the Fat Controller was waiting as Thomas puffed in.
Be careful now, Thomas.
Only 1 truck, sir? What's in it?
Some really useful things, you'll see.
The Fat Controller climbed up to the truck and took something out.
Shiny brand new lamps.
The engines were surprised and fascinated.
But sir, what's wrong with the ones we have currently?
Well, Edward, they're starting to show their age and breaking down. This is why I ordered a new lot of them to replace the older ones. Now these workmen will unload them so you can all go back to your jobs.
The Fat Controller left, and soon did the engines as well, leaving the workmen to do their job.
Alright boys, we gotta be careful with these.
But as soon as he spoke, one of the workmen tripped on the gravel and fell down, sending one of the lamps flying. The lamp hit the ground, but seemed to be in good condition. The other workmen sighed with relief, while some nearby trucks began laughing uncontrollably. Later that day, Percy met Dr. Crosby.
Oh, hello, Percy. How are you doing?
I'm alright, Doc. Thank you. I'm just bringing some empty cattle vans to the market.
Good. Remember to follow the Great Western Way.
Of course, Doc.
Oh, have you heard? There's a storm coming tonight.
Oh dear. I hope it won't make delivering the mail harder.
Don't worry. You always do a splendid job with it.
The conversation was cut short as Doug Scar blew his whistle.
Oh, sorry, but I gotta go. See ya, Percy.
Thank you, and bye, Doc.
But Percy was worried. Not about the storm itself, but about the mail possibly getting ruined by the rain. He wasn't the only one. Henry was also worried about the rain that he'd have to brave through, while the other engines would be sleeping comfortably. When the night came, Henry was set up first with his 2 lamps before he departed for Nafford Harbor. A few hours later, Percy's crew arrived to set him up for the mail train. His driver put on his lamp, but unknown to both Percy and his crew, this had been the same lamp that the workmen had dropped earlier. The lamp had an open gasket, but nobody had noticed. It lighted up fine, and that's all they were concerned about.
Alright, let's go, boy. Let's hope it doesn't rain too much tonight.
Percy set off anxiously as he looked up to the cloudy night sky. The night was going pretty well. Percy was right on time as usual, and no delays were in sight. But this didn't last forever. The weather changed, and it only got worse. Soon enough, the rain was falling down hard, causing it to be much harder for poor Percy to see. As he entered Henry's forest, that's when things got worse. The heavy rain, as well as the dripping water from the trees, made its way into the open gasket. The lamp then shut off, leaving Percy in the dark.
We got a problem!
Dude, we need to stop!
Percy and his crew slowed down as they braked to a halt.
Now I don't see anything, and the mail may get wet.
I'm more worried about us. Without a lamp, we can't be seen.
Bother! We were so close to Kelsthorpe, too.
Percy wouldn't stay annoyed for long, as he heard a loud crack before... Bang!
What was that?
The driver stepped out and went to investigate. He soon came back with unfortunate news.
She's fallen on the line. The train's been an absolute pain. We'll go back and report it.
But he was interrupted by the haunting sound of an engine's whistle. Henry was coming down the line with empty kipper vans. Percy whistled as hard and long as he could. Henry Scroot heard the noise and decided to brake, but it wasn't any use. The rails were too wet, and Henry kept sliding. Once the tree was in sight, his crew jumped clear. With a louder crack and a louder bang, Henry derailed.
Oh dear.
Percy puffed near him.
Are you alright, Henry?
I'm alright. But now I'm not going anywhere.
Neither am I. My lamp broke.
Henry then looked to one of his lamps, and an idea formed in his boiler.
Why not take one of mine? They're still working fine.
That's a brilliant idea, Henry.
Quickly, the crews worked to replace Percy's lamp. As soon as they were done, Percy went cautiously through the raining night to bring the breakdown train. A few hours later, the tree was moved off the line, and Henry was back on the rails. By this point, the rain had finally stopped.
Thank you, Percy.
No, thank you, Henry. I would have been stranded without you.
So would I.
As the two engines puffed home, the sun began to rise over the horizon, much to the two engines' relief. They could rest easy knowing that the sun was one light that would never go out on them.